यस्य रूपमाद्यं प्रभवति जगतो अनेकधानुग्रहाय प्रक्षीणक्लेशराशिर्विषमविषधरो अनेकवस्त्रसुभोगी सर्वज्ञानप्रसूतिर्भुजगपरिकरा प्रीतये यस्य नित्य देवो हि सहसो भव्यात् शितविमलतनुर्योगदो योगयुक्तः Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently bow your head down, bring yourself to the class, prepare yourself for the session. When you're ready, gently lift your head up, open your eyes, extend. Namaskar. We will continue to discuss on the sutras. Which sutra did we stop at? 1, 2, 3. Is it clear? Sutra number 3 expresses the different kinds of kleshas. Do you recall there is klesha used also in the Mangalacharan? We are going to see what is Prakshid. Talk more about Prasuti and so. Sutra number 4. Avidya Kshetram Uttaresham Prasupta Tanu Vichinno Udarana Avidya Kshetram Uttaresham Prasupta Tanu Vichinno Dharanam Avidya, we discussed that out of all the kleshas, which is the strongest klesha? Avidya. And what happens if avidya is there? Avidya kshetram, the field of avidya, uttaresham, uttara, the ones which have been already discussed, or of the others. Prasupta means dormant. Prasupta means dormant. Tanu, weak. Vichinna, interrupted. Udaranam, activated and manifested. So, avidya is the breeding ground of other kleshas. We see in this sutra that if there is avidya, then all these kleshas are present. Therefore, what is advised? To work on avidya, so that there is all the other kleshas that are present are also removed. So, how do we see that? Let's see. What are kleshas? Klishyanti karma tatphala pravartikara santah dukkham akurvanti iti klesha. We saw klesha itself, the term itself means what? Torment. Obstacles or to torment. So, raga becomes dvesha. Dvesha becomes raga. Our attachment to anything causes dvesha, aversion from it. And aversion also causes our attachment. Things we don't like, we are also meditating on them at the same time. So, if we have not left them, things that we don't like, we are still meditating on them. That means there is still attachment with them. Still, we are going to have some connection or realization of their effects. So, in the last session, we discussed Dosha Darshana, Kriya Yoga and Viveka Khyati. Dosha Darshan, because I like to see all the good in me. If there is somebody who praises, I am very happy. Again and again they can say things I do good. But if somebody says things I have done wrong twice or thrice, what do I say? Now why you want to bother talking about it? Leave it. Yes, this is our tendency that if something good has been done, we will be happy listening to it again and again. But if there has been some error on our end, we don't like to discuss it. So what is being advised here first? To remove avidya, to be a mukshu, to be on the path of moksha, dosha darshana. One's own dosha darshana. This is where we stopped. Now let's see why is that so. Bhashyam of Sutra 4. Atra vidya kshetram prasavabhum itare uttara esham asminiti danam chaturvida kalpitanam prasuptatanu vichinno udaranam. Tatra ka prasuptihi चेतसी शक्ति मात्र प्रतिष्ठानाम बीज भावो उपगमस्तस्य प्रबोध आलंबने samsukhi bhava. This sutra says that avidya has 4 parts. Make a note of those 4 parts of avidya. Major 4 parts. For Ajnani, the one who has no knowledge of moksha shastras or scriptures, avidya has 4 parts. First is prasupta avidya. Prasupta, P-R-A-S-U-P-T. P-R-A-S-U-P-T. Prasupta avidya. This prasupta avidya is found in Prakrutilaya state. You recall we discussed Videhas and Prakrutilaya. They also had something remnant in them that they could not be liberated. There was still some kind of enjoyment they were having at the level of Prakriti. So, Prasupta, in its hidden form, we see in Prakrutilaya Avastha. Second is Tanu Avidya. Tanu Avidya. Tanu Avidya. In the Videhas, Videha state. Tanu Avidya in the Videha state. Then Vichinna. Vichinna. Vichinna and Udara for all those who are in enjoyment of the material world. Vichinna and Udara for Bhogi, for Vishaya Sanginam, the Asakta, the one who is attached to the world. So the last 2, Vichinna and Udara, are present in the enjoyers, but the first, Prasupta and Tanu, are present in the Prakritilayas and Videhas. Tanu, the very least form, is also seen in Ekagra, Chittabhumi. So in the Samadhi Pada, there was avidya there also, but how was it? Very, very small, at its minimum. And when we talk about Udara, what are we discussing? Born again and again, in its happy form. This very klesha, avidya, and all the pancha kleshas that make us feel temporarily happy. That means out of ignorance, we are happy for some time. What happens with the kleshas? We are happy for some time. For raga, even when there is dvesha, we are happy. So one is lost in that happiness. This very small level happiness, which is based on the kleshas. One is lost through these happiness. So Sutra number 4 simply discusses these 4 situations. Now there is a 5th avidya, which is seen in the Mukta Purush, the liberated one. It is known as the Dagda Bija Bhava. Dagda, D-A-G-D-H-A. Dagda Bija. Bija. B-E-E-J. Bhava. Dagda Bija. Because the liberated one has done a lot of tapaha. And therefore, these kleshas have been roasted or burned. How they are burned? Again and again, the mind is having some kind of craving, some clinging, but I am not paying attention to it. So each moment there is this constant force. I am burning the entire bunch of kleshas that are waiting to put in. So since this burning is there, to a point where that klesha is no more experienced, we call it Dagda Bija, a roasted seed. What happens when you roast a seed and you plant it in the earth? nothing, no plant, no crop will grow out of. Therefore, Dagda Bija Klesha. Klesha is there in all situations, but its form has changed. It has been roasted enough not to have any kind of fructification. And how it has been roasted? By restraining that very klesha again and again, again and again. So much so that the tendency to crave for it has won over. We have won over the tendency to crave over it. These are the four about the Ajnani kleshas, and the fifth one which is observed in the Mukta Purush.
Why is it still a klesha?
Klesha is...
Why is it the fifth one still a klesha in a liberated person?
Klesha is going to be there.
If he is out of it, if he is burnt everything.
But kleshas were once there, right? So the remnant will be there of something. But in what form? In the destroyed form. So from active form, so we saw in the dormant form, active form to destroyed form. It's there, but completely destroyed. These are the kleshas. Let's see the Bhashyam further. Tatra ka prasupti. What is the meaning of prasupti? The meaning of, or the reason for birth. So this sutra says these panchakleshas are the reason for being born again and again. This very sutra talks about rebirth. Just make a mark here, star mark here. Prasankhya navato dagdha klesha bijasya sammukhi आप्यलंबने नासौ पुनरस्ति दग्ध बीजस्य कुतः प्राहो इत्यतः क्षीण क्लेशः कुशल चरमदेह इत्युम उच्यते तत्रैव सा दग्ध बीज भाव पंचमी क्लेशावस्था नान्यत्रेति सतां क्लेशानां तदा बीज संख्यानां दग्धमिति विषयस्य सम्मुखी भावनोऽपि सति न भावत्येष प्रबोध इत्युक्ता प्रसुप्ति दिग्ध बीजन सप्रोहश्च. So this sutra is very, very lengthy. At times, I will try to read it fast so that we can understand it in short period of time. So we see that ignorance is never dormant. What is this sutra trying to tell us? Just make a note. Ignorance is never dormant. It is always manifested. The moment there is opportunity, the ignorance is manifested. Klesha can be dormant for 2 or 3 births before being activated. The klesha can be dormant for 2 or 3 births before being reactivated. And they are reactivated in particular situations or triggers of the environment. Therefore, you must have seen people saying, he was not a person like that. It's the environment. It's the situation that made him do it. It's the situation that made her do it. So the triggers are there from previous 2-3 births until they meet the right moment to fructify. These kleshas. Then they develop into the fully activated udara situations that serve as triggers, make them udara, expressed, fully activated. When these kleshas come and go, sometimes they appear and sometimes they are lost. It is known as vichinna avastha. Vichinna. Sometimes appeared and sometimes lost. Which means sometimes attachment for something is present, but aversion is lost. Raga is there, dvesha is not there. Dvesha about the same object is manifested later.
So today, if I'm not liking something, it's because I've liked it sometime back in my previous life or something like that.
No, these are not only likes and dislikes. Our present, the Vishaya, the topics which our mind hold, talks about our previous birth kleshas. What are the tendencies of our present mind right now in this birth? They talk about where we come from. So some people may still have very lower level tendencies and attachments of fulfillment of desire, excessive of fulfillment of desire. That talks about what is still remaining, the kind of vrittis and kleshas there. So when we are in the proximity of Guru, the Guru doesn't see us as a person, tries to understand the kleshas we are trying to deal with, tries to see the vrittis in us, and accordingly helps us what can overcome. So any choices, wherever we are staying, whatever that we are doing, all of this is determined. Therefore, we were propelled to take that decision even when other options were available. We were propelled to take certain kind of decision even in midst of other choices. Sometimes there are good choices, best choices available in a job, but you want to do that one particular thing. That means it's waiting to be exhausted. Some transaction is waiting to be exhausted. So whatever we choose, udara, whichever is manifested, those are the kleshas which remain. And which are the kleshas? Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesh, abhinivesh. Avidya being the field of all the other breeding ground for other kleshas. We are discussing avidya in detail in its 4 to 5 forms. So always remember, right knowledge is going to remove the avidya. So make a note there. Right knowledge dispels the opposite, the klesha of ignorance. So detachment will take care of attachment and aversion both. Detachment takes care of what? Attachment and aversion both. So how to work on these kleshas? The opposite. For avidya, go with vidya. For attachment and aversion, go with detachment. So these kleshas are embodiment of our present self. As these kleshas go on exhausting, we find ourselves to be different people every few years. Every few years, we are constantly changing. What is the reason? The kleshas. And how long will this go on? Until avidya is removed. As long as avidya is present, these kleshas, I'm going to be a different person. I'll continue to change in the same format. Sometimes some of the klesha is higher into. So therefore, we saw in the first chapter, Abhyasa and Vairagya, detachment first. And Abhyasa, study of the scriptures to be free from the kleshas. How to work on them? For attachment aversion, we go for Vairagya, detachment. Go for the pairs of opposites. For whom this is? For Yoga Ruksha. This is very detailed advice given by Sage Patanjali. Sage Patanjali is trying to say what? Don't feel that the kleshas are not present in the Videha and Prakriti-laya. Till that level, the kleshas are going to be present. So don't feel the kleshas are only within you. Just their form of klesha is at its reduced, at its minimum. For just the liberated one, it is Dagda Bija. So you don't worry that the klesha is present in you. Try to minimize it. Try to roast it as much as possible. By doing what? By either avoiding it, so it's coming, it's in weight, you're not paying attention, but it's very difficult to do that. So what do? You do the opposite of it. You be in constant practice of opposite. Suddenly the mind feels, okay, I like this experience. Detach from it for some time. Until the mind does not suffer in its absence. Detach from it for some time until the mind doesn't suffer in its absence. So each time the mind holds on to something new, what are we going to do? Detach and give it a break. The moment you reach You feel, oh, there is an attachment here. What do? I distance. Any experience. You feel, oh, I enjoyed the dinner very much today. It was enjoyment of the senses. Don't eat that dish for another 3 months. Instead of going again and again for it, what we do? We say, no, pause. Why? Because I can have control over bigger things only when I have control over these very, very small things. Only then I can feel that I can replicate this to larger degree in day-to-day indulgence of this.
Can I ask you something, ma'am? So does it work on relations as well? Attachment towards relations? Like
in the
your-
relationship, from the yogic perspective, if we see in Grahastha ashram, the role is to facilitate each other, not ensure we are in the bhoga. So we try to help our partner rise above enjoyment, not add them into further enjoyment of life. And how we do that? First, ourselves being the example. We don't stop them. I mentioned this in the previous classes. They may be absolutely opposite to you. Are you going to restrict them? No. You're going to show them life can be more enjoyable even in its absence. You don't need that only to make you happy. There are many other things which are contained within you, like service. You go, you help people in some way, it will give you far more greater joy than any material object that your mind is craving.
But
So in
like-
relationships,
Sorry.
yes. So when we have children, when we have partner, with them, their presence is enjoyed, definitely. But it is understood that I am not going to act in a way where the attachment is going to create a bondage. The experience with me should be freedom for my part. The experience with me for my children should be freedom, where I am not judged. I make a mistake, I am not judged. There is a hope always seen in me to be a better version of myself. If there is attachment, there will be control. If there is detachment, there will be freedom. So if there is attachment, you will want them to behave in a certain way, children to listen to you, to behave in a certain way. But if there is detachment and there is pure love and compassion for them, what will happen? You will guide them. Even if they make a mistake, they do not listen to you, still you will be with them with the same love and compassion, waiting for them to learn for the next. This is the difference. Yes. This is absorbed by us correctly. Now, in this very much sutra, the fifth state is not included by Sage Patanjali, but I have just shared it with you. In the sutra, only 4 are mentioned, okay? But you should also know the fifth, because I've taken references from different places. In any scripture, I feel any mention related to any sutra, I have my own notes. So, while teaching the Yoga Sutras in future, when you try to share this knowledge in your own region with the same enthusiasm, don't discuss the fifth. It's not a part of the Yoga Sutras. But there is the fifth klesha also, which has been discussed in other scriptures. So you can loosely mention it, but not as a part of the main sutra. Now, while doing this, make 3 notes. Swachhata, Shuddhata and Pavitrata. Swachhata, cleanliness. Swachhata, external Bahya cleanliness. Swachha, SWACCHATA. Swachhata. SWACCHATA. Swachhata. Second is Shuddhata. Shuddhata. How will be practicing Shuddhata? for Ruksha, Yoga Ruksha. Shuddhata at the level of the body means what? Especially for women during menstrual cycle. We distance ourselves from any activity. We try not to have sun energy activated in the body. We do not go to objects which attract energy, like any place in the house where the water is kept. Why? Because we are not in the very correct state of mind during that time. And we see that everything absorbs energy in the house, especially water. Along with that, this Shuddhata, in the entire house, the food must not be cooked for other people in this state of mind. The only reason being, we are not in contact with the fire, element fire. Also, the state of mind is not right. There is absolute rest given to the body. Now, along with this Rutu Kala Palan, which is if you are married or if you are into family life, after the menstrual cycle, only 5 days you are allowed to be in physical intimacy. The rest of the days are control. The days of winning over the senses. So how many days are allowed? After the menstrual cycle is over, up till 5 days only. From that 5th day onwards, for the entire month, there has to be control over the senses. So the physical intimacy is not by your decision. As per the Shastras, as per the Vedas, it has been written when the woman's body is at her cleanest and purest. That is the 5 days post her menstrual cycle. That is the time it is fit for her to have intimacy, because in such a state there will be no enjoyment of the senses experienced, but rather it will be a spiritual experience even for her partner. So 5 days, when these are followed between a couple, you call it Shuddhata. For the gentleman, apart from the wife or the partner, any other lady is either a daughter or a mother. Any other observance of any other lady in life should be either as a daughter or as a mother. When this understanding is established very correctly, Vyavahara, what we do? First, from all other senses, we bring under the control the most difficult sense, which is for procreation. And that's the most difficult. So for Yoga Ruksha, this has been advised. A constant practice of controlled physical intimacy, and only in the times when the female body is at its purest, cleanest, and the state of mind is more calm. Only during that time, bearing children or planning the family is advised. Rest of the month, there has to be control experienced by both the seekers in the intimacy. When this has been followed, we call it Shuddhata. Now the partner is also supposed to cook for the wife if she is on her menstrual cycle. Not only cook for oneself, but also for her and to feed her. This is a rule. To cook for her and to take care of the house for those 4 days. Because she cannot eat from anybody else's hand, neither can they. Understand, bhoga is in 2 forms. One is the food you eat, and second is the physical intimacy. So you try to bring this both to one person. You try to limit both of these. Food is also what we see it as bhoga. Sometimes it's enjoyment of the senses. So we limit it to one home, one house, my home only. Therefore, you will see many people don't eat outside their house. They will only prefer to eat made by their wife. So traditionally, only made by the partner. The man is able or allowed to eat the food, or made by daughter, or made by mother. Which 3? Daughter, wife, and mother. Apart from that, no. Why no? Because those tendencies, the mind knows that food, something I like, is also restricted to these 3. And when it comes to physical intimacy, it's only for my partner. So when we live this kind of life, we call it life of Shuddhata. Shuddhata. Patni Vrata. So we don't want a Bhoga Patni. We want a Dharma Patni. We don't want a Bhoga Pati or a husband or partner for any kind of sensual enjoyment, but for Dharma, to tell us how to walk the path of righteousness, to help us, to save us from doing anything wrong to any being as long as we exist. So we take the role of a partner as a guide and advisor. This is carefully understood. This is the life of Shuddhata. And finally, Pavitrata. Finally, right? Pavitrata. For Yoga Ruksha, Pavitrata, Pavitrata, Pavitrata. Shaucha of the body, Shaucha of the body, Shaucha at the level of body and at the level of thoughts. Both is practiced. Antakaran Shuddhi through Upasana, Karma Yoga. Constantly, the Yoga Ruksha has to continue to practice Karma Yoga at least 30 minutes a day. Yoga Ruksha has to practice Karma Yoga at least 30 minutes a day.
Can you elaborate what is Karma Yoga here?
Any kind of practice for Antakaran Shuddhi. It can be cleaning, it can be volunteering, it can be service of any sort.
Or it
When
can-
these three, yes, 30 minutes a day.
So, sitting for meditation comes in this? No.
No, for
Doing your-
others.
doing your for others.
For
Service.
others. People who are non-related to you. You who cannot give you anything.
Oh.
Nor anything they give can have any difference on you. So, whatever way you can serve, you have to start doing. So, when these three are attained, Swachhata, Shuddhata and Pavitrata, now Yoga Ruksha starts feeling so light because the kleshas are wiped out almost. And avidya by the study of Moksha Shastra or scriptures. There are other Shastras also. Apart from Moksha Shastra, there is Tantra Shastra, Siddhi Shastra. So many scriptures and books in India we have, as per our tendencies. But which has been advised? Moksha Shastra in Kriya Yoga. Scriptures which are taking us towards freedom, liberation, not bondage. Or desirous, not making us desirous in.
G, sorry.
Yes.
I haven't understood properly what is Swachhata. What does it mean? Thank you.
Swachhata, external cleanliness around you. So, being in contact with element water and fire, sunlight and element water because they are cleansing in nature. Keeping the environment clean. We studied Shaucha, if you recall. Externally, all of those will fall under this Swachhata. Food needs to be cooked and eaten within 3 hours. Any food beyond 3 hours should not be consumed. The food has sattva only till 3 hours. After sattva, rajas starts developing. There is some activity that happens in the food. And after 8 hours, there is tamas in it. Tamas-induced food. So food cooked within 3 hours will also fall under Swachhata. Cleanliness maintained. The house should have ample sunlight and or fire ceremony must be practiced and water must be used to clean as frequently as possible. This is Swachhata, external environmental cleansing. Swachhata, Shuddhata and Pavitrata. All of these three do what? Antakaran Shuddhi. They start freeing us from kleshas.
Difference between Shuddhata and Pavitrata.
We have a question.
Can you explain what is the difference between Shuddhata and Pavitrata?
For Shuddhata, we are talking about certain period of the month. When it comes to Shuddhata, we are talking about the senses here specifically. When it comes to Pavitrata, it's beyond senses. It's at the level of thought. What kind of thought we contain for others. It's purification of the thought. Shuddhata is purification of our senses.
And Swachhata is of the environment.
Swachhata is of the environment. Purification of these. Now this Yoga Ruksha starts feeling very different, positive, energized, optimistic, sattvic in life. With just changes at these small practices. There is a sense of mutual respect towards the smallest thing as food. Understands this food is what? Sustainer. The people who have given to me. There is more nourishment in this food. Therefore, it contributes to health in its measure. So, Yoga Ruksha, along with these four which we discussed for kleshas, these three also must be practiced. Let me see, in Hindi Tika, they must have given some interesting example. They give some examples here. No, there is no different explanation as such than what we have discussed. Yes, just for this sutra, we had to understand four terms. Which were those four? Prasupta, Tanu, Vichinna, and Udara. Forms of avidya, because rest of the kleshas are born out of it. Prasupta, Tanu, Vichinna, and Udara.
Ma'am, I have
Yeah.
one question.
Yes.
Ma'am, how much and how this will apply for people who are not married? Shuddhata. Like, so they have different experience with different kind of people in life. Somebody comes for a short time, but so for them, it's physically, mentally, both are more.
For them, yes. So actually, it is said to be Brahmacharya Palan. Until you choose the partner as Patni Vrata or Pati Vrata. Why? Because you are going to be very mindful about this process. Yes. So only the person with whom you are going to be longer ahead in life, or the person with whom you can stay without the enjoyment of the senses, is the real test, because at some point of time the senses will not work. So for you to be able to respect that person mutually, for both of you to be able to respect each other, there is strict palan of brahmacharya. So usually it is post marriage also, and before marriage what we do is we use all this strength, spiritual strength, for spiritual upliftment. all the energy of the body is not wasted. You may be with people, you may talk to them. That's not a problem. But you are very mindful when it comes to physical intimacy. The yogic perspective says that the physical intimacy is only preserved for the one with whom I am going to be long-term in life. Why is that so? Because it's going to bring an influx of kleshas and vrittis. Each person is going to, in whatever state they are, is going to dismantle whatever I am trying to fit. So, restrain and control. And therefore, we see in the Vedic times, the marriage was at the age of 20 or 16. So, there was some time given for the couple to bond as friends, at least 3-4 years. So after the wedding, people say, oh, why in India there were marriages at the age of 13 and 14? Because the girl would, at a very from a young age, would go and actually stay at the boys' home. And they would play together in the park. So for her to feel more connected, accustomed to that home, not go there as the wife, but go there as a daughter, to have an emotional bonding first. And when it was the time for her Rutukala or time for fertility, then accordingly they were put onto a different diet and so on. So those practices are not possible in today's time. But what you can do is you can have a very mindful engagement. What kind of people you allow in life. From the very beginning, be very careful. Don't waste time. This lifespan is so short. Everything else that you try to achieve here is going to go. But if you try to achieve any progress in sadhana, that's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay with you. So what is going to go? Don't hanker. What comes naturally, accept it and be on the. Seems little strict, sorry, but you will get only this answer from me.
Thank you.
Out of love and compassion for all.
Yes.
Yes. We will conclude today's session by chanting Purnamada. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gently bow your head down. Feel grateful for this knowledge. Thanks, Sage Patanjali, for bringing this knowledge to us. When you're ready, gently lift your head up, open your eyes. Namaskaram. Thank you for sharing this session with me. We meet again too. Hari Om.
Thank you. Bye.